What's going on, guys? It's Jay Camaro here with my initial thoughts for Assassin's Creed 3. Now, I know this video has been a long time coming. I'm recording this on December 9th, 2012, and this game was released on October 30th, 2012. That's just because I've had a ton of schoolwork, and I know I say that in every video, but it's gotten very, like, stressful, and there's, like, every single night I have, like, 3 or 4 hours, so I don't really have that much time to give this game the appropriate time I need to, compose like my thoughts about it, because this is a very big game. But hopefully, as we go into holiday break, I'll be able to, and they'll tone down the homework a little bit, and of course, in those 2 weeks off, I'll probably put up quite a few videos. Um, so let's just get to the initial thoughts. So like I said, we're going to be looking at Assassin's Creed 3, which was released on October 30th, 2012 for the Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, and the PC, although the PC version was not released until November, and then there was also a Wii U version released in November, but we're not going to be talking about those two versions. We're just going to be talking about the Xbox 360 and the PS3 version, in this case the Xbox 360, but the PlayStation 3 version is exactly the same. So it was developed by Ubisoft, and Ubisoft is like a publisher that kind of develops their own game. I think the developer of this was Ubisoft Montreal, and but I'm just gonna label it as Ubisoft in my title, like animation thing. So Assassin's Creed 3 is well, my first Assassin's Creed game. So I came into it not really knowing that much about it. I had heard, like I mentioned in my unboxing, I'd heard from IGN that you can. It was a good time to get into the franchise, since it was like a new character and kind of like a new like time, area, and location. So I decided that this would be a good time for me to get into the franchise. Um, I got the limited edition, which came with some DLC characters and stuff, but I have not actually played any multiplayer for this game. Actually, when I loaded up the game this time to like record the gameplay that I needed for the initial thoughts, and just let you know, this is the very beginning of the game. I'm trying to stay true to, like I said when I first started out my series, that I really don't want any spoilers in any of my initial thoughts. Even though the beginning of Assassin's Creed 3 is extremely slow, I really don't want to spoil anything for you. But I'll talk about what goes on a little bit later, but of course not in like the story context that will spoil anything. But so when I went to record, I just typed in my online pass, and I haven't even played multiplayer at all. I've seen like I actually went on YouTube just to watch some gameplay about it, and it looks pretty cool. But I think this initial thoughts is only going to be about the campaign mode, like the single player. I think they call it in this. That's just because I just haven't had any time with the multiplayer. So Assassin's Creed 3 casts you as Desmond, kind of. Like, Assassin's Creed 3's story is a little confusing, especially to me, who's only played Assassin's Creed 3. I played a little bit of Assassin's Creed 2 on my cousin's PlayStation 3 a couple years ago, but this is really the first time I've owned one and really played the entire thing, and it definitely is a little confusing with the whole Animus thing. Like, you're Desmond, but you're in, like, this Animus thing, which apparently you can go back in time and, like, relive memories of his ancestors, and they're doing so to like get like different artifacts and keep them away from the Templars, which they're fighting against back in the historical setting of this game, as well as the modern day, which you're looking at right now. Throughout the game, you're going to play as a couple different characters, actually. In the beginning, you're going to play as Desmond right here, and you know, he's just like walking into this like cave or something that I don't really know why they're there. I haven't really played. I haven't played any of the other games, so it didn't really do a ton of explaining on where he is. But I don't know if you saw played the other Assassin's Creeds, that you would know where he is. But so you play as Desmond in the beginning, and then every couple of hours or so in the story, you cut back from Connor to Desmond and do some modern day missions. They're pretty cool. They're pretty short, and they don't really change the historical story at all, but I think they definitely changed the entire like story as a whole. And then when you're actually starting out the main campaign, in the past, you're playing as Haytham Kenway, and he's like this British Templar who I don't know, goes to America to find some cave, which I think is actually the cave we're in right now. But I thought that it was a little confusing why you were Haytham Kenway. I don't really like. I guess in the story it was surprising for Desmond too, because he had it just like appeared as him, played a little tutorial, which you'll see, and then he just got right into the game, and it was definitely confusing for the first 2 or 3 hours. I didn't really know what I was doing, or later in this gameplay, you're gonna see me like kill this guy. I had no idea who he is, and I take this like amulet, and I have no idea what that amulet is for, or anything like that. Um, but then once you get to America, through some like plot twists and stuff, which I'm not going to talk about at all, you play as Connor. Now Connor is a Native American / European guy, and you basically don't start out as Assassin Connor, you know, in his assassin armor that you see in all the trailers, and I have the statue that I have sitting behind me right now, or on the cover of the game. And so you don't play as that for a while. The first time, so this is basically, let's just stretch out the entire beginning of the game. So you play as Desmond, then you go into Haytham Kenway for probably, I finished that segment of the game in 3 to 4 hours, so it's definitely a pretty large chunk. Then your child Connor for about a half hour, your teenage Connor for about 2 hours, then you finally get your assassin armor, I mean like robes, and then your assassin like Connor, the real Connor, which you've seen on the box, and you're going to be playing as for the rest of the game, save for the couple of Desmond missions. So the child and teenage segments of Connor, as well as the Haytham Kenway missions, it's very fixed. It's not like a cinematic, but you don't have a ton of options. You're pretty much dropped in. Okay, here's a story mission. Do that story mission. Okay, here's another story mission. Do that story mission. And there's not really like coming into this game, I heard that there's a lot of side missions, but really, I've probably played most of Connor's story. I wanted to get this initial thoughts out as soon as possible, so I haven't completely finished it, but I haven't really done a lot of side quests. Most of the game is pretty much story missions to start out. Then I think once you beat the game, there's a lot more side quests that open up, but you're really going to be playing the story mission first, instead of a game like Skyrim where you don't have to play the main story mission at all. Actually, some of the people I know have never beat the story mission. I mean, like the story segment of Skyrim. But this isn't about Skyrim. This is about Assassin's Creed 3. And then so the child segments of Connor, child like playing hide and go seek and stuff, and then teenage Connor, you start to do some missions, you know, like training and stuff, but like I said, they're very fixed. It's like, okay, attack this person, okay, do this, do this, do this, and then you finally get his assassin armor, and that's where the actual game really starts to pick up, and that's where my main gripe with Assassin's Creed 3 is. It takes a long time to get going. The first about 7 hours of the game, do not expect to play as Assassin Connor or do any of the Assassin Connor things or meet that many historical figures. You're really just going to be kept on this confusing storyline, and then it starts to explain it to you as the game goes on. So I actually, because like I said, I'm in school, I have a lot of stuff going every night, and I usually have an hour to play video games, then I do my homework, and then sometimes, if I don't have a test the next couple of days, I have about 30 to 45 minutes more. So with Assassin's Creed 3, I didn't actually get into the Connor segments until the weekend after the game came out. So it was first like 4 days, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and Friday night I finally started to get into it a little bit. I didn't really play as Connor at all, and I kind of was like, okay, because I heard, and all my friends got this game, and they heard the same things, and I knew that there was like a light at the end of the tunnel, that all this like really boring and confusing stuff is only going to be for a certain amount of time, then you're going to get to the Connor part, and it's going to be a lot more exciting. But until then, I was like, I don't really even want to be playing this game. That's just my opinion. I'm sure a lot of people maybe liked the Haytham parts more than the Connor parts, but for me, it was kind of like a chore to just do all those missions for him, and it's just like, I don't know, I just felt like, why am I playing this game? It's really boring, I'm not having any fun. Sure, I get to kill a couple people, but I have no idea who I am, what my motives are. It's nothing like is said on the cover of Assassin's Creed 3, like I'm looking at it right now. It's like Connor with his tomahawk stabbing a British soldier, and like American flags in the background and stuff like that. That's kind of a false cover, and not really a false cover, like you're gonna experience it, but for somebody who just picks up this game, just sees it. Oh, cool! It's an Xbox game, not like a hardcore gamer like me who watched the reviews, went on Amazon.com and read like customer reviews and got the limited edition and unboxed it and stuff like that and talked to all his friends about it. For somebody who just picks it up, oh, Assassin's Creed 3, that sounds fun. There's a Native American guy and it looks like it's set in historical time and stuff. But it's actually very different from that, and I could see a lot of people just getting turned off by the game and just returning it. And I'm sure that's going to be a little rare, but I definitely think that some people who just want to get in and play Assassin's Creed 3 as Connor are not going to be happy with this game. It's definitely a game that takes a while to play. It's not your Halo or Call of Duty or even Splinter Cell Conviction, which is also a third-person kind of combat shooter developed by Ubisoft. I'm actually thinking about making that my next Flashback Friday, but that's another story for another time. But even that is very different from Assassin's Creed 3. It's a game that really you have to be knowing what you're getting into going into it, and if you do know that, you're gonna have a lot of fun with it. I just think that I don't know. I should probably just get off to another part of my initial thoughts. I don't know why Ubisoft decided to play as for you to play as Haytham Kenway and the younger Connors. Like I think the younger Connors were pretty cool. I think the teenage Connor was a little too long. Like the child Connor, you're playing him for about a half hour. You get to see how he grows up, where he lived. You get to see his parents and stuff like that. But I think that the teenage Connor, you're not really an assassin. You're not very good at fighting. It's kind of frustrating sometimes, and I just wanted to get right to the assassin Connor. So let's talk about graphics next. The graphics in Assassin's Creed 3, I'm playing it on the Xbox 360, are well subpar. Like I said, never played Assassin's Creed 3 game before. An Assassin's Creed like an all game before. I could probably figure that the graphics of Assassin's Creed 3 are pretty much the same as Revelations and Brotherhood and 1 and 2 and stuff like that. But going into it, I instantly did not like the graphics. I think that they're think of it a lot like Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Future Soldier, which I initial thoughted, well, let's just say reviewed back in May, and it's kind of the Ubisoft engine. The textures are very grainy, but there's a lot of detail, but it's not very colorful. It's not like, for example, Halo 4, where there's just like these greens and reds and purples and stuff. It's very just darker, like grays, and sure, right here is an okay example. There's some color, but it's not very bright. But I think that the one place where the graphics in Assassin's Creed 3 shine are in the Frontier. Now, of course, you don't get to be in the Frontier for a couple hours, but once you do, you're going to be really impressed with it. There's pretty reasonably long draw distances. The colors are pretty nice, greens and rivers, and like the water effects are spot on. You're going to see it at the very end. I decided to include this small clip at the end just to show you what the water looks like, because it's really impressive. But definitely the graphics in some places they can look gorgeous, in others they can look very, very early Xbox era, like the first couple of years of it. And nowadays, I know I'm not gonna beat on it a ton because I know that we are probably entering the last year of the Xbox 360's life, and I know that developers have pretty much pushed it to its limits. Case in point, Halo 4 or Call of Duty Black Ops 2, where those games are pretty much as far as you can get with the current generation. So I think that for a late generation game, Assassin's Creed 3's graphics are not great, but I can understand why, and I'm sure that Assassin's Creed 4 or Assassin's Creed whatever the next one is going to be a lot better graphics, of course, because it's going to be probably on the next generation Xbox 360. I've seen some games with the PC, a lot better. Still not great. Draw distances are still leave a little bit to be desired, especially when, like some points in the game you can stand on top of like rooftops and stuff. You know, like the normal Assassin's Creed image. You know, like a figure standing on some like building, and you can look over the city, like Boston, New York, others, and you know, like the standard Revolutionary time areas. But in that, the draw distance is very not good. You can look out and you just see like tons of like fog and mist, and the buildings look very, very unrendered. Only in like close, like if you look straight down, you'll see like a little square of rendered textures. Then everything will just get extremely blurry. Um, it just does not. I don't know. I think that I'm hoping that the next one is better. It didn't really break away from the experience, and I got used to it after a while. But I think that the graphics could have been a little bit better if they had better hardware to work with. It runs 60 frames per second, which is kind of normal for these types of games. So yeah, sound design, I really liked kind of the atmosphere. So like especially like in this beginning area, you're seeing a lot of people like, you know, talk about the play, and you've got like some people like singing in the background, and the ambient noise is really cool. Like it's pretty spot on with like all the people like in Boston, like the bustling towns with tons of just people talking about random stuff. I really like that the sound design in those segments are really good. The music, it pretty much captures the time, you know, like the older classical style of music. Voice acting, I thought was pretty good. Um, the characters, I think Connor's voice actor did a good job. He kind of sounded like Native American, but then some European stuff. Actually, there's some segments of the game where he's talking with his Native American family, and they're actually talking in Native American language. I forget what language it is. I heard of it a little while ago. I don't really remember. You could probably just go look it up. But I think that was really cool. It kind of captured the experience, because it would have been a little weird seeing them talk in English, but and then like the European people talking like European like phrases and stuff, and I really enjoyed it. I thought that was pretty good. The the for like the gameplay aspect, so Assassin's Creed 3 is pretty much your standard brawler. You've got your attack button and your counter button. You can move around and pull off special tricks, but you're pretty much spamming the X button, and then when somebody there's a little like red arrow that appears over someone's head, you then rapidly tap B, and then you like counter that, and so it's pretty much normal. I didn't have a ton of like, it wasn't hard to get into it. You have a lot of tutorials. You don't really have a main fighting segment until you're on the ship, which you'll see in a second. I didn't get to that part because this video is going to be is 25 minutes long, so I didn't really want to get into like the 30-minute range for an initial thoughts episode. So, but the combat, I like it. There's like, what you can do is go up behind someone and then like stealth kill them if no one's watching. And then if a ton of people start attacking you, then you get into these like brawls, like where you're like in a defense stance, and then there's like a circle of guys around you, and then you can actually use like special weapons by pressing Y, and then the character there's like you can like when you're looking at someone, they're like highlighted in this like silver color, and then when you press Y, you can like use whatever weapon you have equipped. Like you can have as Connor some different like assassin darts. The bow is really nice for hunting animals, which you can do. You can like skin them and sell their skins and stuff for money. But the combat is pretty good. Didn't take that much getting used to. Of course, if you're really playing into playing like first-person shooters like Call of Duty and Halo, it's definitely going to take a little bit of getting used to for the whole third-person action stuff, but I really enjoyed it, and coming out of games like Batman, I thought it was pretty nice. So the final part that I'm going to talk about is pretty much the, well, first let's talk about the multiplayer. Now, I'm not going to get into the opinion of the multiplayer because well, I haven't really played it that much. So, pretty much in multiplayer, you're playing as, you know, like assassins that are nothing like Connor or anything like that. And then you're in like a limited area, kind of like a little map, if you will, with a number of assassins, like real people, and you're trying to kill your like target, which is another person. then they're trying to, excuse me, dodge you, and I don't think, I think it would be fun, and I think it looks cool, and you know you have to like avoid them, but then you don't want to like get everybody. You don't want to like completely just run away because then they'll be like, I don't really know what will happen, but you don't want to do that. And I think that really multiplayer for these games, like Uncharted and kind of like the third-person story-based games, I think that the multiplayer is never extremely robust, and I think that a lot of people might just skip over it completely. Kind of the opposite with a game like Call of Duty Black Ops 2, where some people won't play the campaign and just go right to multiplayer. This is pretty much the complete opposite. Some people will just play the campaign, and the campaign single-player mode is a great offering, and for the $60 price, that alone would be good. I think that the multiplayer is pretty much like a bonus that you're getting. So finally, let's just get into the segment that I like to. It's called "Should You Buy It?" Now, should you buy Assassin's Creed 3? And that's the main question that I really asked myself the entire time when I was playing this game. How am I going to recommend this game to someone? Well, for somebody who just wants to get into a game, you know, has a ton of games, just wants to, pick up another game, play it for a couple of hours, or maybe like rents it over the weekend or something, I don't think this is going to be the game for you unless you have a ton of time on your hands to start it out. I think that the first 5 hours are pretty slow and don't really capture the essence of what Assassin's Creed 3 is. It's pretty much you playing as some British dude, you have no idea who he is, and I think that the real part of Assassin's Creed 3 that's really fun is playing as Connor. So, I think if you just want to get this as another game, I don't think you'll hate it, but I do think that you're going to have to put some time into it. Now, if you're an Assassin's Creed fan, of course you're going to buy it, and I think that if you are somebody who doesn't really have a ton of games, just asked for an Xbox for Christmas and wants to kind of, has heard about Assassin's Creed 3, maybe played it at a friend's house, and kind of wants to get that as one of your only games, I think this is going to be a lot better option. But, because you're going to have to finish this game, you're going to have to play for at least 25 to 30 hours. Probably more like 50 hours. Then with all the side quests and stuff, it's just going to be even more, plus the DLC that's going to be coming. There's just going to be a ton to it. So I think that if you're somebody who played Halo or Call of Duty and stuff, wants to get another action game, I think that this is going to be okay. It's going to be very different, more stealth-based, a lot more story, but I think all in all, Assassin's Creed 3, I would think it's a pretty good game. Not going to be my favorite game of the year, but it's definitely a game that if one of my friends asked me if they're into action games, I would definitely mention Assassin's Creed 3, and I think that Assassin's Creed 3 is a pretty good offering, great story, and for this holiday season, a lot of people are going to probably be asking it for the holidays. So that's pretty much the end of my video. If you guys enjoyed, thumbs up, comment, subscribe. I'm hoping to have my Halo 4 initial thoughts up either today or tomorrow and kind of wrap the holiday gaming season up. But I'll see you guys later. Peace out.